hotel, we didn't have nowhere to stay. At 29, I've done so well, hit cartwheel in my estate. And I'm going.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Ridley, and this is the NFL on EA Sports. Two teams will need their quarterbacks to step up and lead their offenses on the gridiron today. It's Bradford's Vikings going up against Mitchell Trubisky's Bears. For the call, let's send you out to the broadcast booth, where we'll join our commentators, Brandon Guyton and Charles Davis.
All right, thank you much, Larry. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to one of our favorite spots, venerable Soldier Field in Chicago. Just a short time ago, this crowd loud enough to shake the foundations of this nearly century-old building. They are ready for football indeed in Chicago as their guys get set to do battle with the Minnesota Vikings. And hi again, everybody. Alongside my partner, Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Guyton. And, Charles, when you and I were going through our final run-throughs at breakfast, we kept thinking tonight we're going to get to see a couple of very good passing offenses.
And we're talking about both sides having multiple receivers that can have an impact on this game. It's not just one guy that's going to make all the plays. If you take him away, maybe number 2, number 3, they make the big plays that impact who wins the game.
To return, here comes Marcus Sherrills. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. So here's the Viking offense making their way out. They'll be led out by the former Heisman Trophy winner and number 1 overall pick from Oklahoma. It's Sam Bradford.
And Sam Bradford, he has touch and accuracy, and he has it in bushels. This guy is amazing. If you watch him throw 7-on-7 or watch him throw routes versus air, the ball hardly ever hits the ground. He's absolutely a receiver's dream when going out for a pass.
They go play action here on first down. Flush to his right. And that is caught on the right sideline, but out of bounds, says the line judge. The throw took him a little too far, and second down. And the offensive starters for the Vikings.
It's been quite the evolution for Stephon Diggs because when he came out of high school, many thought he was the top prospect going into college football. Didn't have quite the career that was expected and actually got drafted lower than what many people thought. But, boy, is he playing to a top level now while he's in Minnesota.
A second down throw for Bradford. And incomplete there. A nice hit. Jars the ball free and brings up third down. And here are the Chicago defensive starters.
I remember Pernell McPhee coming out of college, and many people were wondering where they would play him in the NFL. And I said, just get him on the field. Whether you play him a defensive end or outside linebacker, let him use that long frame to his advantage. Can be a tremendous pass rusher, even though he only played 9 games in 2016, had 4 sacks. He's a guy who knows how to get to the quarterback.
So now an early 3rd and 10 here on their opening drive. Throwing, Bradford. Screen play, McKinnon. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. A short gain there of just 4, and that'll bring up a 4th down.
So many things have to come together just right for a screen pass to break for big yardage. The blocking, the timing of the pass to the runner, everything has to fit together just right. But on that play, the defense was able to disrupt things and hold it to a short game.
So on 4th down, here's Ryan Quigley now to kick this one away. Deontay Thompson deep for Chicago. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. They'll be led out by their 6'2" QB out of North Carolina, former #2 overall pick. It's Mitchell Trubisky.
I talk with people around the league about Mitchell Trubisky when he's coming out of North Carolina. Those that had questions about him, they often centered in on the fact that he was only a one-year starter and wondered why he couldn't beat out the guy ahead of him beforehand. I just locked in on the athletic ability, the accuracy, and then once he got the football, had the...
And right away, he lost the football. And the Vikings pick up the football. And they're going to bring this one back. It's a fumble return, a scoop and score for the Vikings. And give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
Kai Forbath on for the extra point. He's got it, and the Vikings take a 7-0 lead. So not only the cough up, but then the pickup on the other side, the scoop, and the score the other way, the fumble return for a touchdown. So here's the kickoff now as he'll get it again following that fumble return for a score. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. The Bears offense now heading back out onto the field. And let's just say they're going to be looking to start over on this drive. A few moments ago, they were in the exact situation, but their first play led to a fumble that was returned for 6.
Yeah, you definitely have to have a short memory to play in the NFL. You got to remember what you did wrong so you don't repeat it. But you can't dwell on it because then you will repeat it, and that's what you don't want to do.
9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1. If these kinds of lanes are available, you have to feel like he's going to have a pretty big game on the ground.
Yeah, you can tell early on he's got a little burst in his step, and that's a big pickup right there on first down.
They go with Howard again. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
Another nice run there by Jordan Howard. And when we talk about fresh legs, how about 2016? Jordan Howard, the #2 rookie rusher. Heck, the #2 rusher in the NFL behind another rookie, Ezekiel Elliott.
In the first 3 weeks of the season, he only had 12 carries. So once week 4 hit, really found his groove. So the run gets him the first, and now they operate with a fresh set of downs.
Let's go! 3-19!
Now Trubisky. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. We see this offense, and we see Jeremy Langford, certainly a guy to watch in this game.
He plays a game with great determination, Brandon. In college, he played multiple positions before settling in at running back. He made the right choice.
So incomplete on first. Let's see what 2nd down has in store.
Here we go now. Blue 90! Blue 90!
Trubisky, draw play, gives to Howard. And give him about 5 as he gets this up to the 48-yard line. Quickly now a look at the defensive starters for Minnesota.
Let's take a second here to talk about cornerback Xavier Rhodes. And what I love about his game, his long arms and strong hands. When you put him in press coverage, it's really hard for receivers to get off the line of scrimmage and get into their routes.
Had what most thought was his best year in 2016. The trophy case agrees. His first Pro Bowl. And the Vikings with an extra defender in the secondary on 3rd.
Playing coverage here.
They'll run here. This is Kadeem Carey. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on 4th. Big boys down there in the trenches, and a nice play to stop them cold. Nothing there.
Yeah, when you talk about big boys, you're talking about those defensive tackles, those nose tackles. They're not just big, they're immense. And what a big-time play there.
So on 4th down, on is the punter, Pat O'Donnell, to kick it away. Marcus Sherrill's back deep for Minnesota. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. They're going to have to go at least 50, 60 yards here if they want to ensure that they don't have to punt the ball like they did last time.
Yeah, so what you're saying is we're not playing to just get out of the shadow of your own goal line, right? You're playing to make sure the punter doesn't see the field again. So it's not picking up a couple of first downs. You want to pick up 5 or 6 first downs and make sure you move the ball into their territory.
Holding offense.
That one whistled against a big right tackle.
You'd think being able to fire out and block, it'd be a lot easier to not commit a holding penalty, but it's tough to keep those guys right in front, isn't it?
Now the free kick comes after the safety from the 20 as they bring the punter on to try and get some hang time here. Oh, he's got a little daylight. Now the Bears offense ready to take over again. And things haven't started so well for this side. 2 drives, 2 punts.
So now you've got to start looking not just at play calling, but which guy's going to step forward and say, okay, let's get this thing done. Because within that unit of 11, sometimes one guy can make a big-time play and break through the barrier.
Holding offense.
So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot, but they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
Trubisky with a give to Howard. Gets it up around the 22 and no further. Did show some power on the run, but not a whole lot of room. Only a yard on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Doesn't matter who you're rooting for in this game, the effort of the man with the football, getting away from one and trying to turn forward and get some yardage, I really liked what he did there.
See if they stay on the ground for 2nd down.
Let's go. Back there, Philly. Here we go.
From the shotgun is Trubisky. And the hit jarred it loose. It's incomplete. So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Right, you know a coach said that, right?
Yeah.
Not an actual player. Not a chance at all. Way easier said than done.
Green 39. Green 39.
Now Trubisky on 3rd and long, and that is incomplete.
But no second guessing the call here. It was 3rd and long, so throwing the football was probably the smart play to try and pick it up. But they don't get it, and now the defense goes off the field feeling pretty good about themselves, gaining some momentum as they force them into a likely punting situation.
Here's Pat O'Donnell now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And no return possible here as they angle this one out of bounds. Now the Minnesota offense set to take over again. It's been an awfully slow start for them. This is their 3rd possession. They don't have a first down yet.
So that means they have to change up what they're doing, and for some teams, it's a change in tempo, usually moving it to more up-tempo type of an offense. Just
under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Pernell McPhee. Not dropping into coverage. He comes on the blitz and takes him down for a loss of 9.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
In a blink of an eye, that happened fast and a big sack. Now the first carry for Dalvin Cook. And he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. It'll be a gain of 15 on the play. And they're going to face a third down.
Well, last year, I'm not sure we saw very many of those runs, did we, from the Vikings? I mean, they had the poorest rushing attack in the league.
Just 75 yards per game, but carries like the one we just saw, that'll help bolster that average.
Yeah, certainly, and they tried to beef up the offensive line in the offseason, brought in Latavius Murray, and then drafted Dalvin Cook out of Florida State.
And they do finally get him, but he takes it to the 25. A big play for the Vikings on third down. 43 yards.
On any given pass play, you never know exactly where your exit points are going to be. On this play, he was flushed to his left, still on the run, able to accurately throw the football for a nice first down.
Now Bradford. Flushed out right. And that will be incomplete. They couldn't hook up on what's going to be the final play of this first quarter. One quarter in the books here on a Thursday night. The Vikings are in the lead early. And we're back to Soldier Field after this. Back now with Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. Second quarter begins with the Vikings holding the football. And they're on the move as they face a second down here. To throw again. Bradford, throw left side on target to Thielen. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets him up first and goal. And now the passing game here in the second quarter starting to heat up a little bit.
Don't you feel the rhythm starting to happen, right? You see it now. The confidence is starting to rise. I think now as a play caller, because that has happened, you lean on it a little bit more. You don't go totally away from running the football, but you do say, guess what? We can throw it. We can throw it well with a whole lot of confidence.
That is caught at the 7-yard line. And he'll be brought down this time at the 5-yard line. Nice job defensively to hold him to 4, and now it's second and goal. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys on plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch. I mean, when you talk about collectively, it's unbelievable. So their ability to move is practiced now. It's not necessarily, oh, he just took off and you guys figure it out. When he takes off, everyone knows where to go now. They know how to run routes, change things, make themselves presentable for the quarterback. It's a lot of time that they put in on it. It's not just your static 1, 2, 3. This is where the ball goes anymore.
And this one will wind up with him losing yardage back to the 4-yard line. When you throw it this close to the goal line, usually you're thinking touchdown. Here they actually completed but lose yardage.
When you're this close to the goal line, you have to anticipate that maybe you're going to see a defense that you can make a case that there's 11 in the box. There's just no room. So I'm with you. You've got to find a way to push things downfield a little bit. Any type of space is better than what we just saw there. And that end result, not one that's satisfactory to them.
So give them 3 there. A good drive gets them inside the 5, but they couldn't punch it in.
And credit this defense, too. That was the old bend but don't break approach. But it kept the offense out of the end zone.
Forbath now to kick it away after the made field goal. Now the return man. This is Benny Cunningham. And it's a pretty good return here as he'll get it up to the 29-yard line. The Bears offense led by Mitch Trubisky heading back out there. I think this crowd not really sure what to make of things. Their guys have not looked very good. Their leader here at the top, he hasn't looked that great either.
And most of the time you hear guys talk about how they don't let the crowd affect them or they block it off. Well, that's not really fully true because a lot of the times you ride the wave of emotion with the crowd when it's positive for you. In this case, they've got to find a way to shake it off and at least get something done to maybe put the crowd back on their side.
Absolutely. Give these guys something to cheer about. On first down, Trubisky. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call. That hold coming from the left side of the line.
Hands got caught in the cookie jar on that one, and the flag came out. Penalty against him.
All right, here we go.
Out of the gun, Trubisky. And here the hook up good to Victor Cruz. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first.
Let's go. Boom, land it.
Now here's a whistle as flags come in. And we'll check out the call.
False start, offense.
So that'll back him up 5. This is Howard on second down. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. No gain on the play this time, and it'll be a 3rd and long situation coming up. And a couple of big boys up front defensively, and in that 4-3, those D tackles so vital.
Extremely vital. I love how you describe that, because if they control things up front, often it's over the guard. Sometimes they slide and make it over the center. It's really hard to get a play started then, because a lot of teams want to start inside out running the football. But against a good 4-3, you may not find any space. And on that play, there was 0 space. No gain.
A big 30-yard play on 3rd. Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
Encroachment, defense.
So they got him coming up from his linebacker spot.
And sometimes the position designation really doesn't matter. If you creep up to the line of scrimmage, you just have to look for the football. Make sure it moves before you do.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And he'll take this down just shy of the 25-yard line. 1:58 to go in this first half of play. We're back to Soldier Field following this short break. Coming up at halftime in a little less than 2 minutes, we'll send you to Orlando, where Larry Ridley is standing by. He'll have highlights and analysis of this first half. And after the play on the ground, that brings up second down here. Now they'll throw it with Trubisky. Trying for right, and it's intercepted. Picked off by the linebacker, Eric Kendricks. And his guys are going to take over at the 21-yard line.
Well, this is a defense that can confuse even the best of quarterbacks with their zone schemes. And here you've got a linebacker that's going to stay at home and just sit down in that zone. And this one basically comes right to him.
And you see Dalvin Cook in the offense heading back out. He's only had a couple of carries. I mean, when you've got a horse like this, second quarter, got to start to ride that horse a little more, don't you?
You can't just neglect him. He's got to touch it, and often, in order to get maximum out of him. Typically, these types of backs, it's the accumulation of carries, and that's when you see the damage as the game goes on.
Yeah, let's see. They're going to try to get him into the flow, we would assume, here.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, they always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame. Get used to the ground shaking so you don't trip and fall when it happens in a game.
A gain of 4 that time as the drive continues.
Second and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on third down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they did.
He couldn't quite hold it. Got hit. Ball pops out. Incomplete.
Sure, that pass was incomplete as they made an attempt to get a big one downfield. But that's okay because the second part of that is if you don't get the completion, at least you've told the defense you're trying to stretch them out a little bit, and they may have to change accordingly.
Off the play fake to Cook. Here's Bradford. Eluding the pressure right. He's got it complete to Diggs, right side. And he'll get it out near the 40 to the 39. 4 yards on the completion, and it sets up a third down. The Vikings on third down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Now it's a bootleg with Bradford. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Now the Bears electing to call a timeout defensively. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. All right, so the timeout over and all 11 men back out onto the field for the defense. Here's Ryan Quigley now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. This is taken around the 12. Almost outkicked his coverage there. 48-yard punt, but 10 on the return. And the Bears take over. And this offense led by Mitchell Trubisky going to make their way back out there. He's got to dig deep here, doesn't he? Team's losing. He's not playing well either.
And they always tell you, don't press. You'll make things a little bit worse. But in this particular situation, you try and heighten your play a little bit. So far, he's thrown 1 interception. He wants to balance that off with at least 1 touchdown pass in order to get his team back moving forward.
A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
Anthony Barr got a real education at UCLA in playing not just his normal position of stand-up outside linebacker, but down defensive end. So he had to incorporate a variety of moves, take on bigger people. So he learned great leverage while he was there. That really helps him when he's trying to stop people running the ball.
Born in South Bend, Indiana. Thought about going back to go to Notre Dame, but you're right. Great career at UCLA and now a great career in the NFL.
All right, let's get it going. Let's roll those first half highlights. Bears taking control early in the first. The ball will pop loose here. Vikings end up picking up the ball and scoring as they get out to a 7-0 lead. Vikings come out on 3rd and 4. Thielen's by himself here, and he'll end up at the 25-yard line before being tackled. However, they only come away with a field goal on the drive. 3rd and long. He'll head outside to the right on the run. He'll pick up more than 10 yards on the play. That'll do it for us here at EA Sports Studios. Let's get back out to Brandon and Charles for the call of the second half. Brandon.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. This will be taken about the 12. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. So here's the Bears offense now as they get set to start this 3rd quarter. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half 2, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
They threw the screen to the perimeter, but to no benefit at all. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of yardage.
Green, 39! Green!
A give to Howard. He works his way forward for a couple up past the 30.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the 3rd quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
Now it's Trubisky. And this is going to be incomplete. A pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No Doubt about it. And in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides where the tension continues to build. Who's going to make the big play?
And he gets it away, and it's a laser headed for the sidelines. Out of bounds as he appeared to be looking for the corner. He got it. They're going to mark this at the 4-yard line. It's the Vikings' turn on offense. We get ready for their first possession of the second half. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because
he's got daylight. He's at the 50, 30, 20, 10, touchdown, Vikings. A great play there, 96 yards, and the Vikings are going to add on to their lead. Still plenty of time left in the game, but now starting to pull away a little bit, get some breathing room with that one.
And I don't want people to think that NFL locker rooms are cookie cutter, that everyone's saying the exact same thing in every situation. But I do know that all 32 teams have an emphasis on starting fast. Game, the second half, no matter what, whether it's first 5 minutes, first 3, whatever, this was a big score to start the second half.
And the lead is up to 15 now. Forbath out to kick this one away. This is fielded at the chalk of the 10. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area. But these guys are going to chop into that deficit. They're going to have to do a much better job in the run game. Caught behind the line of scrimmage, no yardage to be found.
Now Howard. And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call.
Holding offense.
So he was holding from that left tackle position.
Everyone tries to keep their hands inside when they're blocking ever since they liberalized the rules where you can extend them out. But sometimes they get out a little wide and they get detected grabbing some cloth.
Here we go. Blue,
Again, it's Howard. There's the stiff arm. It'll be a gain of about 5, but they're left with a third and still about 12 to go. 5 yards there, and remember Howard last year 5.2 yards per rush, so right around his average. The only Bears running back that's averaged that many yards per carry in a single season, Walter Payton.
And if Jordan Howard can keep up that type of pace, the city of Chicago will surely embrace him.
He's going to float this one deep right side, and that one incomplete. Had some position but couldn't hold on, and it brings up 4th down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually that becomes man on man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
And he gets this away, angled for the sideline with a lot behind it. Wow. Now Case Keenum and the offense heading back onto the field. The lead is theirs here in the third quarter, but it's really been the ground game that's been the recipe for success.
You mean the spotlight isn't shining as brightly on the guy throwing it?
No, it's the man behind him that's had a heck of a game.
And that's really okay. That's actually what you're looking for. I mean, your pride tells you, hey, I want to be responsible. I want to throw a bunch of touchdown passes. But when you're able to run the football, typically speaking, your team's doing pretty well. And in this case, they're winning.
We'll see if they have balance on this drive. They run again on first down. Cook. And he might have got this across midfield, not by much. They'll mark it down at the 49. A gain of 3, second down. On second down, Cook. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up third.
But that certainly felt like an example of the defense just saying, okay, we've had enough. We've gotten mashed all night long. About time we got a good play in. But flip it over to the offensive side. They've got to be really upset that they allowed a play like that to happen. They were pitching such a great game. They want to keep it going.
Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be fourth down.
Whether you're playing West Coast offense or not, one of the maxims of the West Coast offense is you're either throwing a touchdown or a check down. In other words, look for the big shot, but be smart. I think they did exactly that on that play. They didn't get the first down, but they're taking care of the ball well.
Yeah, and being rightly cautious with that lead here in the second half. And a little too much mustard on that one. It hits a couple yards into the end zone. A missed opportunity there maybe to pin them back. The Bears offense now gets set to head back onto the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting. And while there was no gain on that run, we do know coaches whose identity is rooted in taking it almost to the limit and then changing things up on you down the stretch. I think we're getting really close to that point in time, though, where the identity may have to go out the window, and they've got to go a little bit faster in order to try and win the game.
They give them 13 yards there on the play and a fresh set of downs. On first down, they run with Howard. And this has been a recurring theme tonight for sure. Nowhere to run. Back to the line of scrimmage, that's all. No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
No gain on that run, and while the team is down, there's still time to come back and win the football game. If I'm the offensive coordinator, though, I've got to think about moving at a faster pace and maybe opening things up a little bit and throwing it a little bit more.
And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a third down. 1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Back now at Soldier Field. It's Bears football, but they trail on the scoreboard as we get. The Bears on third down. Just 1 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 11. Now Trubisky to throw. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Linval Joseph able to get him down for a loss of 11 on the play, and it'll be 4th down. A rookie QB struggling, gets thrown down to the ground there, but you know, maybe this game, it's not over yet, but maybe this game can be a learning experience for him.
So many different things that he has to pick up on. When to go ahead and flush from the pocket and run. When to get rid of the football, not take the sack. When to just go ahead and go down early and make sure you don't fumble the football. So many things that he has to learn. This game starts the process.
Here we go. It's Trubisky on 4th down. He's going to loft one deep left side here. And this is going to be incomplete. John Fox displeased at how that turned out. And the Vikings, they have the football now in excellent field position. So they really needed points here in a 2-score game. Could not come away with anything there on 4th.
And while we know they're a little bit discouraged here, they can't check out of this game. You and I have called a good number of games over the course of our career where we've seen these types of situations. Teams get the ball back, and that miracle does occur. So they can't let that dream go just yet. They have to get stout on defense here.
Yeah, right now really hoping for a turnover. Again, it's Cook. And he'll be brought down here at the 3-yard line. 9 yards on the play there, and it sets him up 1st and goal.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
A carry here for the big tight end. And he will fight his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Kyle Rudolph A 3-yard touchdown run. And the Vikings find a way to stretch their lead.
I think it's easy to say mission accomplished on that drive. The goal was to increase the lead. They did exactly that.
Forbath to add the extra point. And the lead opens up now to 22 points. Forbath out to kick this one away. Set to return now. Here's Deontay Thompson. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And last time out, went for it on 4th down, turned it over, gave them great field position, turned it to 6 points, so they've got to recover here, Charles.
It's amazing what one decision can do in the chain of events, right? The decision to go for it on 4th down.
Caused all of that.
It caused every bit of it, but it showed confidence. Hey, I've got confidence in you guys. Go pick it up for them. Didn't happen. Also showed confidence in the defense. They didn't pick up their end of the bargain, so now they've got to come back out and start over and rebuild that confidence.
Looking to throw Trubisky on 1st down. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up 2nd down. Another wayward pass. You know, things started out poorly in this game, and to be frank, they just really haven't gotten much better.
And all that does is embolden the secondary. They feel good about what's going on, and they just play better and better.
And the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. They'll get 9 there as that sets them up better for 3rd down. The Bears on 3rd down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. They need just a yard here. It's 3rd and 1. Throwing once more, it's Trubisky. The catch made by Miller. A gain of 26 on the 3rd down conversion.
But when you hit him on the move like that, and he's able to get into open field with a full head of steam, oh boy, it's going to be tough to get him down.
Yeah, there was a big window. They're lucky they did get him down.
Here we go now. 3-19.
On the handoff, this is Howard. And they'll go backwards here, losing yardage to the 14. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
It's real easy to say this running game needs to be better, but the reality is they've been given little time to actually find a place to run the football. It's almost like the defense is there on the handoff.
They'll run it now out of the gun. No dice this go-around. He's hit behind the line and taken down. They'll lose a yard, and it brings up 3rd. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak. Not letting blockers get to them, allowing them to run to the football and keep that running game bottled up.
And incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow them to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, they really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let them get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up 4th. John Fox displeased at how that turned out. And the Vikings defense is going to get the football back. And they've now made 2 trips to the red zone and still looking for their first touchdown.
Not able to punch it in, and if you're on defense, your confidence is sky high. Because mentally, you're saying, hey, you're in the red zone. We're thinking we're giving up 3. We just want to give up 6. In this case, they end up not giving up the touchdown at all. They've got to feel great about what they got done.
Takes this one up past the 20 after he's able to make a man miss. It'll be a gain of 7, and they get it back to a 3rd and 3.
Playing against a 3-4 front is really challenging for offensive linemen because they can do so many different things. But when you're running the football, if you can handle the nose tackle up front, and then maybe a guard can slide up to the 2nd level and block a linebacker, that's when you have success running the football.
Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. And you'd have to figure they're just looking to burn these final 2 minutes away and get out of here with a victory. So the run moves the chains, and here we go on first down. They run it for the first time with a backup Murray. And he showed off the athletic juke. Good little gain there. Not a whole lot of real estate, but a nice carry. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it second and a foot or so. They go with Murray again. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. It's another 10 yards on that one and another first down.
I have to chuckle to myself a little bit, Brandon, because right now I could be in that huddle with that offensive line. I know exactly what they're saying. If you call a pass play here, we're going to call timeout. Run the football. We've got control of this thing. Get in behind us and let's go.
Their time to shine. Give them a couple on the carry there. 2nd and 8.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. Let's see what the offense comes with here. 2nd and 8. Handoff comes to Cook. And little room to maneuver there. He gets it down to about the 39. Just a 1-yard pickup there, and it's going to make it 3rd down at 6. They run it again with Cook. And he'll go down here at the 35-yard line. 4 yards on the pickup there, but it's going to take him to 4th down. This late in the game, Charles, I think you maybe seriously have to think about going for it.
Especially where they are in terms of field position, because this is almost like no man's land. Might hurt your punter because there might not be enough space, maybe too far for your field goal kicker. I'm like the old rule. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Possession is 9/10 of winning the game. Go for it. Get the first down. Close it out.
They'll run for it. Cook stripped. The ball's out. And this is picked up by the Bears. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line.
You and I have been around teams, and they all have goals for games, don't they? And every team we've ever talked to says what?
No turnover.
Don't turn the ball over. 0. And they were that close to getting it done. Won't cost them today, but they'll hate that when they're watching the game tape.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
Here we go now. Green 39.
Following the fumble recovery, it's Trubisky. And that will be incomplete with a clock down now to 13 seconds.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Here's Trubisky. Now a desperation throw deep down. Oh, you saw that one coming. It's intercepted. Throwing back across his body. Picked off by Harrison Smith. And he'll return this one just shy of midfield to the 49.
Well, this defensive pressure has been constant all game long. The pass rush, the coverage, they've all been excellent, and now they'll tack on an interception here as this one continues to slip just further and further out of hand.
And barring something unforeseen, this will be the last play of the game.
Hurry up, here we go.
They run with Cook. He's been busy tonight. And he is knocked down from the side. A road win in the National Football League. Charles, you never take that for granted no matter who you're playing, no matter where you're playing.
You take it and you run with it. And you know you primed the pump all week in your own home facility. No one thinks we can do this. Only people who believe are right here in this room. And then you go on the road, band together, and get it done.
So that's a wrap. For Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gunn. And this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. With that, we say good night from Chicago.